Chats. I'm your host, Cinderella Field. Yes, that's really my name, along with your co-host, Sandy Hunter. We are so excited to be here to share some insight about life, love, and relationships. So let's get to it. Hey, Sandy, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, my friend?
I'm wonderful. So, how do you like this heat that's going on right now?
Well, this morning when I went outside to water my flowers and came in and needed a shower, I thought 84 degrees at 6:45 in the morning, not so much.
No, I know. Did you see my flowers out front when you came in? There's no sense in really having any.
I know it's so dry, but and it's so weird because we had just a downpour yesterday. They just had these little showers popping up and everywhere, and our trees actually got some good watering yesterday for about 5 or 10 minutes, and it stopped.
Well, lucky you.
I know, but
Lucky
it's
you.
pretty dry. But listen, it is July. We're in the middle of July. It should be 100 degrees right now in Oklahoma, so I'm not going to complain too much.
I know, but it's like we missed the spring part this year. And then just jumped right into summer. That's why my flowers look like they do. And
They don't know what they're doing.
Huh?
They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what to expect.
No, exactly. But let me just tell you, it was nice to get a break and go to Florida. Utah. I mean, it rains rained.
Absolutely.
It rained a lot of the time that we were there, but we had so much fun. And I was just really kind of nervous about it, but excited at the same time because we did it in the car.
Mm-hmm.
We drove there. My oldest grandson, who's quite the baseball player, but anyway, every grandmother's going to say that. And that's what we went there for, plus a vacation. But we were going to drive, and we drove. And there were two little ones. So it was my son-in-law, my daughter, and three boys, 13, 4.5, almost. I mean, he will be 5 in September. And then the other one will be 8 in August. But I mean, it was just so interesting, the drive there and the drive back. I mean, the stops that we had to make, because they have to go potty.
Right. And you're in such a confined space,
And it's a 13-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
So we drove, I think it was 8 hours the first time, but it was really longer than that because of the stops. Mm-hmm. And every time that we stopped, the younger ones, especially one of them, I'm just going to say that, he wanted something to drink. I mean, sugary drinks or sugary, whatever.
Right.
And they would do anything just to get him to try to be quiet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And, but we made it. So we drove 8 hours and then we stopped overnight in Mississippi and spent the night there and then got up the next day and then headed to Florida. And it was a beautiful condo right on the beach, and it was just so much fun. And we cooked. We went grocery shopping. We cooked. We went to the beach. We went to baseball. I mean, it was just run and gun. And we went to some fantastic restaurants. And as a matter of fact, there's key lime pie there.
Oh, imagine that.
Yes. So I love key lime pie. And we went to this place called Donut Hole for breakfast. Uh-huh. And they make it fresh every day. I mean, a lot of the restaurants make the key lime pie because it's a big deal.
Right. It's the Floridian thing.
Yes. And they have real key limes there. Uh-huh. Okay. Tiny. Because it's not regular limes that you use to make a key lime pie. And I have made them before.
They're small.
I know. Teeny tiny. And you have to squeeze all of those key limes. You know what I mean? For that pie. And anyway, I had the first slice of it and took it home with me. back to the condo, and I couldn't wait to get into it, and I thought, "I'm just gonna take a couple of bites before I go to bed." Oh, no, I ate the whole piece. So I said to my son-in-law, I said, "Can when we drive by there on the way," I said, "can we just stop and I'll get a whole key lime pie that everybody can enjoy?"
Uh-huh.
Well, guess what? The kids really want sugary, sugary stuff, and key lime pie, even though it's sugary, I mean, it's not
It's
really.
not doesn't taste real sugary, I don't think.
Oh
I
my
love
god, it's delicious. It's so good.
especially if
It makes me
there's whipped cream on top of it.
well, that's what it had.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. So guess who ate most of the key lime pie?
Did you?
I gained, I swear to goodness. And I mean, we tried to, at least that my daughter and I tried to walk as much as possible in the morning, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it was, fried shrimp, just really good food and just really good fun. And then key lime pie, things that you would do, Ben and Jerry ice cream. Oh my gosh, they had flavors there that, I mean, they had them all over the place.
Oh, yeah, Cherry Garcia is my favorite.
Um, I didn't allow myself to get one myself, so I just taste tested out of theirs. And my daughter had one that had vanilla and whole cherries and dark chocolate.
That's it, Cherry Garcia.
Oh my gosh.
My favorite.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Yes.
And then my son-in-law had one that had like chocolate. It was like a chocolate cake and something else in it.
Brownie cake batter.
Probably so.
I know my Ben and Jerry's.
Oh my gosh, it makes me want to go get it.
Chunky Monkey has bananas in it. It's so good. Then they have a cookie dough. It's chocolate chip cookie dough in it. One called Fish Food.
What does fish food have?
It has chocolate fish that have caramel on the inside.
Ah,
They're so, let me tell you, the list goes on and on. Love Ben and Jerry's. But anyway, I know you were going somewhere with the story.
well, I'm just, the whole thing, and my grandson played incredible baseball, and it was with a young team. I mean, it was the team that he is on. They've only been together, I think, for 2 or 3 years, and I just have to brag. I mean, he pitches, and now that I know a little bit more about that age bracket, this is not unusual, but he pitches 75 to 77 miles an hour.
That's good at his age.
He's a good pitcher, and he can knock the heck out of a baseball. Okay. So anyway, and so much so that they played this really good team that won the tournament, and they wanted to walk him. And I didn't know that you could do this, have the option to say, no, I don't want that person to hit.
Yeah, they can throw balls.
And so that's what happened. And then he had coaches calling his parents and trying to get to talk to them about being on their team next year. And he actually had a traveling coach give him an MVP coin or, whatever. But my point of talking about all of this, and then the little ones the little one that is 4.5, he would play with my hair while we were driving in the car, and he would just say out of nowhere, "Mommy." And she would say, "What?" And he would say, "I love you, Mommy." And then he would say the same thing to me, "Grammy, Grammy." "Yes, I love you, Grammy." And he would do the same thing to his dads. Now, he didn't do it to his brothers, okay? And it was just so much fun. And this is where I'm going with that. A lot of people, I don't know. I mean, when I told them that a lot of my friends that I told that I was going on this trip, they were like, "You're going to drive in a car and do this?" Yes, I think it'll be so much fun. I mean, why would you want to miss out on something like that as a grandmother? And it reminded me of so many trips that we took with our children because we lived out of town and we would drive from Houston to Fort Worth. And I asked my daughter, I said, "Do you remember what we used to do?" And she goes, "Oh, yes." And I said, "Do you really?" And she said, "Yes, we would listen to you sing almost the entire way." And I said, "Yes, but do you remember you and your brother, you would," I said, "What did you do you remember what you did to entertain yourself? Because I remember when you were little, it was coloring and things like that. And from the very beginning of the trip, you would say, 'When are we gonna be there?' Especially your brother. 'When are we gonna be there?' I mean, if you said it once, it was like you said it 400 times."
Right.
And I said, "But we didn't stop like you guys did." I said, "Because your dad had a goal to get somewhere at a certain time, and he left it when he told you we were leaving at that time, we left at that time, and we were gonna get to where we were going and arrive at the time that we needed to get there, according to him." And that's the way that it was. So it was just so very different. And Buc-ee's, have you ever been to a
Oh, I
Buc-ee's?
love Buc-ee's. I do. I don't like the nuggets. Now, I know I'm probably gonna get some boos from our listeners, but I'm not a Cheeto person either, so they just remind me of a cinnamon puffy Cheeto. So it's not like they're bad, but I love their barbecue sandwiches. I'll give
Well,
them
there
that.
were people in line to get food there. I mean,
Mhm,
I've never been to one, and so the parking lot was covered. It was massive.
mhm. They have about 50 gas pumps and
Yes, and I mean, it was just I thought we were never gonna find a parking place. And when I went inside, I actually took some videos because I was just like, I've never seen anything like this in my life.
Right.
And then the woman in the restroom, they had several restroom
Mhm.
attendants, but there was one woman specifically, it was her job to go, "Okay, hurry up. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's move it." And I'm thinking, "Oh my God, this feels like a carnival or
Yeah,
something."
like a directing traffic.
But boy, they got people she got people women in those restrooms and got them out of there. So that was interesting. But the reason that I bring all of this up is it reminded me so much of tradition.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Tradition, absolutely.
Family, tradition, the things that you do. And, just watching my grandchildren in a different environment besides being at home and watching my daughter and my son-in-law up close and personal with them like that. I mean, we all lived together
Mhm.
for 12 days in the car and in the condo. And Luke and I slept in the same room at 13. I mean, it was just amazing. And I don't know, do you guys do trips like that?
We do, and it just reminds me of the responsibility that comes along with that. Because see, as a parent, we are our children's first teachers.
Yes.
So, in your drive down there as a grandparent, oh, the joy and fun it was to be surrounded by your grandkids, knowing that you had all of their little minds at your attention. And at that point in time, you had the opportunity to teach them things of the past, teach them things of the future, teach them things that God would want us to instill in our children.
Mhm.
So, tradition with me is huge because we are responsible for showing our kids values and principles and morals and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And so, what a better place and time. I mean, I can remember my parents were a bunch of band of traveling gypsies. My dad played in a band and he drove a semi truck during the week. I was a baby in a bar at a very young age. Back then, my job was to sit on the amp. Then, when the bands needed cigarettes, I would jump down and go to the cigarette machine at the age of 8.
Are you serious?
Yes. And I knew everybody what brand everybody smoked. Vantage, Camels, Pall Malls. I knew which one I had to take to whomever. That was my job. I was a baby in a bar. Can you believe that? But when you grow up in a musical family, that's what you do. So I've lived in 28 different states. I mastered the art of peeing in the cup by the age of 2. I could probably tell you what every KOA campground site looks like from this side of the Mississippi over. I spent a lot of time in the car. So I have a lot of wonderful memories and a lot of very good teachings from my mother along the way. I learned how to spell Mississippi with a little cliche song, Mississippi. It was a song.
Yes.
Even when we were out in the woods, it was always a teaching thing. I mean, she would have us picking up pine cones, and if I have 15 pine cones and she takes 3 away, I mean, she was constantly teaching us not only educational things, but making us look at things how one pine cone, how God made a tree out of one little pine cone seed. I mean, things that we don't get enough time with our families nowadays because everything is so commercialized. Granted, people still go on vacations, but they pay these astronomical amounts of money to go on these trips that you're just herded like cattle from place to place, which I don't have anything against. But when's the last time you loaded your children up in a car and just talked about the things that God has provided us, what we're surrounded with, the ocean? I can't imagine how you and your grandkids sat out in the sand and talked about all of these things that he's created. So yeah, I think it's much needed in childhood.
And it was just so amazing to watch and build like sand castle things with them and show them how to do that. And I mean, I was really shocked at how brave they were, including the little one, to get in the ocean.
That's so huge.
Well, yeah. And, to tell them how the ocean has the salts in it are actually healing for you. And it just makes you feel different. I mean, I felt different when I was there. And it was so nice not to be able, I didn't have to blow dry my hair because my hair is naturally curly. And so is Lisa's to a certain, not as curly as mine, but I was just like, oh my gosh, I just want to move here.
Right.
And the seafood there is amazing. But what was so amazing is just how much fun we had with each other.
And you're laying foundation. You're laying foundation for those boys to know that there's always going to be, not always going to be, but they have a place to come back to when they're up against life's trials. These foundations that we lay in our kids at such a young age are constant sources of refuge when they do face trials at an older age. When Luke gets up to the point where he is in high school and he comes across decisions, he's going to take things that he's heard over his lifetime and he's going to make judgment calls, whether this is going to be a good choice for him.
Exactly. And he's not, he just is with his family and hearing what his family says versus what other people are telling him.
Right. You're absolutely true. That's it.
Exactly. And it reminds me so much of Titus 2:3-5 for me. That scene, Lisa and Jared do something that we did was really interesting and made me think of that. But it just talks about, this specific one talks about instructs older women to be examples and teachers to younger women, guiding them in areas like love for their husbands and children. I mean, that's what it reminds me of.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, when we take time to educate our children about God's love and truth, we're laying a foundation for them whenever they get older and they come up against a storm. Finding that refuge in the storm that refuge is going to be whatever they have learned at a young age to find peace in and comfort in and reassurance in, that love, that nurturing. And it breaks my heart whenever, right nowadays we hear about the child trafficking and all this crazy stuff that, Satan's running rapid in our world and everything that's happening. But I seen a kid on, I don't remember what show it was, and she's not a kid anymore, but she's like in her 20s now, but she was child trafficked as a kid.
Oh, wow.
And the look in her eyes, when she was talking was so hollow. It was almost like her soul was just empty because she was talking about how her parents had sold her when she was young for drugs.
Oh
And
my
she was
gosh.
passed down from different pimps would just sell her. If they'd get done with whatever and they would just sell her. And she was a part of a child trafficking ring. And my heart just broke for her because she never knew as a kid what that foundation was of love, what God was about. She didn't have a refuge, in a storm. She didn't have that.
Well,
So,
I can tell you this, just watching, my daughter and my son-in-law, the way that they parent and the one thing that they did, if they told them that they were gonna do certain things for the day,
mhm,
they always followed through no matter how tired they got.
consistency.
And just knowing how it filled my heart and how it made them so excited, they're giving them memories that will live in their hearts forever, and more likely than not, they're going to pass it on to their own children and in their own families, and that's what makes me so happy. So I would just say to everybody out
Mhm.
there, if you're invited on a road trip with your children, your adult children, and your grandchildren, just go. I mean, it was just unbelievably fun,
Absolutely.
and I will, beg to go next year if they go back to Florida for the, baseball stuff. I will just insist that they take me with them.
Well, in Proverbs 22:6, it says, train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. And I think that is in memories too. That's part of that training. What kids remember when they were little
Mhm.
dictates so much of their life to come. That's what I tell people. Because sometimes verbal abuse is just as bad, if not worse, than physical abuse.
Oh, absolutely.
And you see a lot of kids, and I don't want to put a damper on, Luke's baseball or any of that, but my son grew up playing travel ball. I mean, my husband coached his team until he was 16, and there were there were several parents who lived vicariously through their kids because I don't think they had that foundation when they were young.
Mhm.
And the pressures that they put on their kids by the time they got into high school, they just quit ball altogether.
Oh, girls, there were fights there. That's not the way that my daughter and my son-in-law are, but there were fights between people and at the baseball
Isn't
games, and
that
the
crazy?
police had to be called. I'm serious.
Yeah.
And one of the I mean, one group of people were from Oklahoma and the other was from Texas. I'm serious. It was just crazy.
And what they don't realize is those kids are standing back and watching all of that.
Exactly.
And I understand you have discrepancies, and I understand you have, the Red River shootout, Oklahoma versus Texas. I get all of that. But there, at some point in time, you have to be responsible as an adult for your actions. And you have to know when you're around kids, kids are already always watching. And at certain ages, they're like little sponges. And what you're teaching your kids, they're going to be teaching their kids. And that's a scary thought because you're over here rolling around on the ground with somebody and your child's watching. That's what they're thinking is okay in their mind.
Well, even Titus, the Titus that I started on, I mean, that goes to both men and women,
Sure.
older men and women, being parents and teaching the younger generation.
Right.
So, I mean, I just think that anytime I just wouldn't want to, it's just me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how everybody else feels, but I don't want to miss one moment of being with my adult children every chance that I get because you don't get that many chances, or my grandchildren because they grow up and those moments will be gone.
They've
So,
been gone.
so I'm just going to encourage everyone out there.
Mm-hmm. Titus 2:7, you brought that up. Show yourself in all respects to be a model of good works, and in your teaching show integrity and dignity. And that doesn't mean rolling around on the ground with your kids watching. That means, listen, Linda, 1 Corinthians, be imitators of me as I am of Christ. All right, people. We can have fun, we can enjoy things, but we have to remember first and foremost that we are teachers of these little people that are walking around.
That's right.
People that we've brought into the world. So we want to make sure that we're good mentors to both girls and boys.
That's
You know, we want to make sure that we're leading them down the right path, for heaven's sakes.
That's right. So, and I actually got to take Luke 3 days this week to the ORU baseball camp. And I mean, I will just never forget doing that either. I just love being involved as much as possible with my family. I just do. So that's what I would encourage everyone to do
Right.
is be as involved as possible because it's so important.
So, and it's our job to apply everything that we know and that we've learned through Christ our Savior to build our children up, not to tear them down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Bible tells us we're not to dominate over them. Obviously, we don't spare the rod. We correct them when they need to be corrected, but we have to love them and encourage them because, again, we want to be that house of refuge that they run to. We don't want them running to drugs or something that they can self-medicate with.
That's why family time is so important.
Absolutely, Cinderella. Absolutely. You can't get more family than 12 days in a car.
No, you cannot. And on that note, I think we'll leave it at that because I think that's really great.
Yes.
And just say we look forward to talking with you next time more about life, love, relationships, family, and marriage.
See you soon.
If you enjoyed the show today, share it with your friends so they can listen in to our conversations about life, love, and relationships. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Cinderella Chats, the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. We look forward to our Tuesdays together and know you will too.